According to reports in several media outlets in Europe, France international Kylian Mbappe has already decided where he's going to move next year. The young forward has become one of the biggest players on the planet while on the books of Liga giants Paris Saint-Germain. Mbappe has been scoring goals for fun in France and in Europe, and after helping Les Bleus with only their second World Cup triumph, he is set to embark on what promises to be an illustrious and trophy-laden career. While he hasn't won the award yet, we would bet our life savings on Mbappe lifting at least 1 or 2 Ballon d'Or awards before he retires from the game, and that time isn't even close. At the age of 21, Mbappe is already showing signs of greatness, so all of us can rest easy that we'll be witnessing the rise of another great player once Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi decide to call time on their glorious careers. PSG paid AS Monaco quite a lot of money to sign Mbappe back in 2017. The youngster's arrival has coincided with a lot of success. Alongside Neymar Jr., the Frenchman is arguably the most talented player the league has ever seen. However, the youngster does crave more attention, and if we're being honest about it, a move away from Parc des Princes would further elevate his status as one of the biggest players on the planet. Now, according to media, the youngster has already decided where his future lies. While he hasn't been open about things, Mbappe is interested in joining reigning Premier League champions Liverpool next summer. As things stand, Liverpool have made some really good moves in the transfer market after being relatively quiet in the window's early stages. Klopp's men signed Tsimikas and have now added Thiago into their ranks. The Spaniard is going to add quite a lot of guile in the midfield, and we all know how influential he can be when it comes to keeping things running. They've also signed Diogo Jota from Wolves. Another amazing up-and-coming talent, and someone to provide competition. The club is possibly also looking to add a couple more new faces to the dressing room, and by the time this transfer window concludes, the reigning English champions will have a lot more depth in their squad. This will allow the team to compete on multiple fronts during the 2020-21 campaign. The Reds fell short in the Champions League last season, but are still one of the best teams in Europe. They're competing for top honours and are no more an afterthought in England. However, every good team needs a big-name signing to become a truly great team. Perhaps this is why the Merseysiders are eager to finally make their biggest acquisition in their recent history by enticing Mbappe into moving to Anfield. According to reports, Klopp has already had a discussion with the player's father over a potential move to England. According to Le Sport in France, Klopp has reached out to the player's father, Wilfried Mbappe, with Liverpool in the market for a big name in case Sadio Mane departs for pastures new. Want to know how we never miss a match? With Fubo TV, you can stream any game, anytime, anywhere. Use our link in the description to start for free and watch your favourite teams live. Liverpool might be forced to make a tough call on their star forward, given the fact that Mane's transfer value might never be higher than it is right now. The Senegal international's goal-scoring exploits have helped Liverpool a lot in the last couple of years. Furthermore, he finished an impressive 4th in the Ballon d'Or rankings last year. Maybe the finish could have been higher if we are to believe former teammate Diomansy Kamara. The former striker says that Mane could have finished closer to Ronaldo had he been playing for the likes of Real Madrid or Barcelona. While that statement is definitely going to irk a few of us, the reality is that both clubs enjoy something of a hegemony over this award. Moreover, the Reds aren't an unknown quantity when it comes to selling prized assets. They did end up selling Suarez and Coutinho in 2014 and 2018 respectively at a time when both players were at the peak of their powers. Based on their history, Liverpool might end up selling their star forward if they receive the right offer. Coming back to Klopp's infatuation with the PSG hitman, it's clear that the German tactician would love to get his hands on a player who's far from the finished product. The youngster's entourage was in fact contacted by Liverpool back in 2017 when he was still at AS Monaco. But if that's not it, there's another particular scenario that must be discussed. While we have heard that there could be a possible swap deal that could see Mane go the other way, it's not as if Mbappe isn't too fussed on things either. The France international is clearly a fan of Liverpool and is very appreciative of what the club has achieved in recent years. While speaking to the BBC, the youngster had nothing but praise for Klopp's men. "What Liverpool do in this moment is amazing," Mbappe told the BBC. "They're like a machine, they've found a rhythm, and are like, we play again, we play again. They've lost 0 games. When you watch, you think everything is easy, but that's not easy. The guys are focused, they play games every 3 days and they win, they win, they win." However, Liverpool are not the only side that's interested in signing the French hotshot. The likes of Man United and Real Madrid are also monitoring the player's situation at PSG, where he doesn't have a lot of years left on his current deal. Real Madrid in particular are keen on adding the youngster to their stable of talent. Mbappé arriving at Santiago Bernabeu is not a very unfathomable scenario, given the fact that Los Blancos always seem to find a way to sign their preferred targets. Moreover, the club is still looking for a player who fills the huge void that popped out following the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo a few years ago. Not a single player has been able to perfectly replace the Portuguese legend, and Mbappé has a great chance of being a true Galactico in the Spanish capital. And when it comes to tapping up players, no one does it better than the Spaniards. Real Madrid have been approaching players by any means necessary for a couple of years, so it isn't surprising to see that they've unofficially approached Mbappé and his representatives. Zinedine Zidane is a huge admirer of his fellow countrymen and would absolutely love to sign him. This is something that's irked PSG sporting director Leonardo. PSG are desperate to hold on to their star player, but we all know that if a player wants to leave, there isn't much a club can do except ensuring that they get the best deal out of it. So why is it that Liverpool can actually sign the young striker? While it has been said quite a lot that Mbappe's dream move is to work under Zidane at Real Madrid, the chances of this happening anytime soon remain slim. Almost every club in Spain is going through a rather turbulent time, and Real Madrid have not made any movements in the current transfer window. In fact, the club has already offloaded the likes of Sergio Reguilón and Gareth Bale. While we don't know what the club's financial situation is, we can bet that it isn't as healthy as it usually is. Madrid are looking to cut costs and want to remain a financially viable business. They're playing the waiting game and are not going to stretch their budget in order to bring in a player who's not only going to cost a fortune, but will also be a huge burden on the club's already bulging wage bill. Similarly, the likes of Manchester City and Barcelona are not looking to make such huge moves. The latter were keen on signing Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan, but the Argentine is not going anywhere. Barcelona can't afford to make any big-name signings and are indeed looking to sell first. Ivan Rakitic, Luis Suarez, Nelson Semedo and Arturo Vidal have already left, and the club is looking to offload the likes of Samuel Umtiti, Jean-Claire Todibo and some of the other players. If that wasn't enough, the club's current presidential issue is another reason why a lot of big players might not consider coming over to Camp Nou. We've already discussed at great length Lionel Messi's highly publicised Burofax affair. The club's coffers aren't in a great shape either, so we don't expect Mbappé to move there in the near future or even the distant one. Manchester United have issues of their own. Their transfer dealings have become a joke in all honesty. The club's pursuit of Jadon Sancho drags, and there's no certainty that the winger would ever sign for them this summer. Moreover, Mbappé is also unlikely to sign for a club that's lost its direction and is no longer the superpower it used to be. This leaves the ground open for Liverpool. The Reds are becoming an ambitious club. They have the right manager, the perfect squad, and shrewd owners who are not going to make a splash in the transfer market based on their whims. Liverpool have now become a destination of choice for a lot of good players, and the rumours linking Mbappé with a move to Anfield don't really surprise us. At the age of 21, Mbappé has a whole career ahead of him. He has time to develop further, and he's becoming possibly one of the greatest players France has ever produced. Jurgen Klopp has had a really great effect on Liverpool's existing stars. Mohamed Salah arrived at Anfield from Italy with a point to prove. The Egyptian is now one of the finest players in the league. Sadio Mane arrived at Liverpool and many thought that the transition might be a bit too much for him. Similarly, Virgil van Dijk was once the most expensive defender of all time when he joined Liverpool. The Dutchman has become one of the best defenders and is an envy of the Reds' rivals. However, in order to stay in contention for all the best things in the game, Liverpool need to continue making waves on a regular basis. Great squads are made, then age catches up to them, and then a new lot takes the torch from the old ones. Every club goes through that cycle, and perhaps Klopp is already thinking along those lines. In a few years' time, the current players might not be performing at a level that they are right now. This is only natural. For that reason, the English giants will already be looking at certain players who are going to help them achieve their goals. Diogo Jota was one of them, and Kylian Mbappe definitely fits the profile. He's a young player who's hungry for success, and despite his age, is already an experienced and consistent performer. Eventually, the Frenchman would also want to try something other than Ligue 1 football. With all due respect to the clubs, PSG have made a mockery of the Ligue 1, and Mbappé needs to move to a more competitive league in order to justify his status as a rising force in football. Staying at PSG wouldn't give him that, but a move to the Premier League would definitely change perception. For Liverpool, if they're able to make a big money move for the youngster next year, well, Let's just say they'll be making a very prudent investment that will continue to pay them off for at least a decade.